Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
This is FunBelt Commissioner Keith Gill, and I listen to the FunBelt podcast.
This is the FunBelt podcast, part of the Believe Network.
Hosts the Dusty Thibodeau of Warhawk Report, Jeremy Harper of Howlraiser, and Shane Metlin of the Daily News Record.
I think it's potentially a very good week for the Sunbelt.
But I'm just kind of going off on a random rant. It's just frustrating.
I'm Jeremy Harper. That's Dusty Thibodeau. We're on the Believe Network. We are. Well, I can't even remember who we are, Tibbs. Who are we again? We're FunBelt Network, right? We're FunBelt Podcast, right?
Yeah. FunBelt Podcast, home of the very low advertising revenue because it seems like only Believe in the Warhawks is cranking out content, Jeremy.
You know what? I tried to crank out a Raising Hal, and I just was too busy. The real world kept keeping up. I had a hard time even catching up with the baseball tournament. That's how busy I was. But no Metlin tonight. Don't know. Shane's MIA. Maybe he comes in later on. You know, he's on the Eastern time zone, Tibbs. So who knows what time it is right there? It could be like midnight right now.
We need to start like sending out the text as we try to send out the bat signal. Be like, yeah, we're going to meet this time, Pacific time. And that way it's, you know, a random show up of who's actually going to be there.
Speaking of time zones, do you think we should try to get our guy from who's the college sports magazine that Phil Steele? Do you think we should try to get Phil Steele on the show again?
That's your guy.
But every time I get him on, I get confused as to what time zone he's in. Every time.
Jeremy, it doesn't surprise me that you, of all people, are confused by time.
I am concerned that I have made an enemy out of Phil Steele. That's where I am right now. Are you ready for football season, Tibbs?
I'm always ready for football season.
Really? Okay. You know, I took a look at the numbers this year for the transfer portal. More than 300 athletes coming into the Sun Belt this year. It's like a total of like 315, but like there's like 8 or 9 that's Sun Belt on Sun Belt action. So more than 300 athletes from different teams are coming into the Sun Belt this year. And I thought that the Warhawks were pretty active this summer.
45 new Warhawks on the Bayou. Still not a world record like it was in BV's first year where it was like 74. So not a completely new roster, but at the same time, a very new roster.
All right. So, I think we are off camera. We're talking a little bit about Sunbelt Media Days that are coming up. Tibbs, he likes to fly in from Houston. I like to drive down from Little Rock. I enjoy the time to myself, listening to the radio. Tibbs doesn't want that hassle, wants to get on a plane, get in, get out. I respect that. But, so 2 different ways. You think Metlin will join us this year?
Hell no.
He should. He'll be missing out.
I agree that he should.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm stalling, Tibbs. You know why I'm stalling?
Because you didn't get the text message from Netlin saying, well, shit, I didn't get the Twitter message, so I won't be there.
Shade. No, that is not why I'm stalling. I'm stalling because baseball season ended very disappointing for me, Tibbs. Did you feel the same way about your Warhawks?
So the title of the article that will be coming out on Warhawk Report is Successful Season ... sort of.
I wrote a similar article. It was something about being a gloriously disappointing season. That there was so much good to look at, and yet falls short. Is that how the Warhawks did? Lots of good stuff to kind of mine, a lot of gold and silver to take out of the season, but also just a lot of dirt.
A lot of copper that looks like fool's gold.
Yeah. Wow.
No, I mean, if you look at the preseason rankings, right, ranked 14th or picked 14th, whatever.
Yeah.
And not just, they were picked 14th, Jeremy.
Yeah.
We had 14 points, meaning everybody under the sun picked the Warhawks 14th in the league.
Wow.
And the fact that they finished 12th and one game outside of the top 10 going to Montgomery speaks volumes, especially when there's really two games that you could circle pretty heavily that were probably the difference.
Yeah,
one was that the Friday night game against the now Sun Belt Conference champion Southern Miss Golden Eagles, where they fell in extra innings 2-1, and then the cluster double header against Georgia State, where we wound up seeing midnight baseball on the Bayou, Jeremy.
Yeah, that'll disrupt your rhythm. Having to play that after midnight game. Yeah, Arkansas State had a similar trajectory. I remember watching the Warhawks, thinking that this Warhawks team is just sneaky good. They know how to hit. The pitching, could be hit or miss, but the Warhawks definitely knew their way around the plate. I felt that they were on their way to meet that goal. Your goal, Tibbs, for 2026 was just to get into the Sun Belt tournament. Didn't quite make it. Red Wolves, my Red Wolves, the same thing. After the first conference series, Arkansas State beats Southern Miss 2 out of 3. Southern Miss goes on to win the conference tournament, right? But it felt like Arkansas State wasn't just thinking about winning the Sun Belt. They were talking about going to the NCAAs. That's what was the talk in Jonesboro. It was something that we had never even ever considered in all of our lives. We were on a different stratosphere of arrogance, Tibbs. And then we go to Atlanta, and it was like a different team. There was no longer this ability to throw nothing but strikes. The hitting just went down the tubes. We had one guy, Lane Walton, the second baseman, had 10 home runs the first 20 games, hit 2 home runs the rest of the season. It was just like something happened, some sort of magic, I don't know, some dark potion that happened in Atlanta that just took away the team's chi. And the team never could recover from that. Ends up finishing, I guess, 11th, right ahead of the Warhawks, right behind Marshall. And that's how the season ended. But was there a team, Tibbs, besides our teams failing that kind of surprised you?
I really thought the Cajuns were the surprise team. I mean, runners up in the conference, but if you look at it, struggled the opening weekend, lost 3 to ULM. Even there were people wanting to fire Matt Deggs, wanting to fire Dr. Maggart again because God forbid he hires somebody that knows what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. Look, they turned in some Vermilion magic. Yeah. And the fact that they were able to get that close, and honestly, they were in the championship game a little bit, but you could tell they were just out of gas having to play so many games in so many days.
Yeah, I was impressed with the Cajuns. I was also impressed with Troy. They had that real slow start too. And they just seemed to get stronger and stronger as the season went on. Yeah, they had a pretty good run in the Sun Belt tournament. At the end of the year, playing great baseball. It was a struggle to get by above 500. They managed to do it. I thought they were really impressive. I thought Georgia State at times looked really interesting. That they did a little bit better than I expected. And also congratulations to Southern Miss. Was there a team besides our teams, though, Tibbs, that you felt like you couldn't understand what the hell happened?
Coastal Carolina.
Wow.
You go from national runner-up. You're going to probably be one of the top 3 seeds in the NCAA region hosting to essentially go in, 2 and out? I don't think that they beat App State, so they went 1-2 in the Sun Belt Conference. That's bad for the national runner-up. I mean, the great pitching staff that they have, the hot bats, and nothing to show for it.
Yeah, here in the natural state, I get this a lot from like Arkansas fans who they're kind of used to having their baseball team be in the College World Series or make the postseason. They always kind of regard the tournament, the conference tournament, that's as almost a waste of their time. You think maybe Coastal kind of said, you know what, this isn't what we're trying to play for. We're going to rest up for the big wheel.
No.
Okay.
Because being a mid-major or a mid-major conference, no matter how much we want to say, at least in a baseball side, that we're a major conference, we're still a mid-major. Yeah. Where, what is it? They're projecting 12 of the 14 SEC teams are going to be in the NCAA regionals. They have to win the conference in order to ensure that they are in the dance and that they're hosting that regional.
Okay, so they kind of shit the bed a little bit. Another team that kind of I thought overachieved, maybe not overachieved, they sort of underachieved, and then kind of showed up at the end, and then looked pretty good in the tournament. Texas State, we're bidding them adieu, Tibbs. Did they sort of have a good swan song as they were leaving the conference?
Wasn't bad. I mean, they were able to make it to where we at the semifinals there. Yeah. Before they fell to the Cajuns in the games that had to be played in Troy. And I love Troy social media where they're talking about the only team in the nation to play and host a conference tournament game and still not have ABS.
Yeah, that was pretty good. The Sun Belt tournament had a lot of I don't know, it's obstacles to overcome. They had the weather, a lot of rain delays, had to move venues a few times in order to get games in. It still turned out to be a pretty compelling tournament. I think there's walk-off grand slam in a game and some really great hitting and pitching performances. There was some grumbling I saw, Tibbs. I'd like to get your perspective on this, on the on attendance. What did you think about it?
Yeah, no one was there because it was constantly getting rained out. You didn't know who was going to play, what times they were going to play. And so you just kind of showed up to watch baseball if you were going to show up at all. Everyone wants it moved up north to where it's in Charlotte or Raleigh or wherever. If anything, I say consolidate it all down. Everything's in Pensacola. The Blue Wahoos or whatever the minor league team is there, they can host it at their stadium. But it looks like Mother Nature is really what we have to contend with. Let's just play it in the Superdome.
I would love to play baseball in the Superdome. That would be a lot of fun. You know what? If the Warhawks and the Red Wolves had been in it, Tibbs, those fan bases would have come, right?
Hell no.
It was a record attending year for Arkansas State. We had great attendance this year, even though if you look at Arkansas State attendance and you put up against, I don't know, like a Southern Miss attendance, it looks pretty weak. But we're pretty proud of where we came. And I tell you what, I felt like you and I, both our teams came up short, and we both described our seasons as bittersweet in a way. It was there were really good things to be had, really great moments, and then at the same time not getting it done, not making it even into the Sun Belt tournament. I think that just goes to show you what a good conference the Sun Belt is, Tibbs.
No doubt. I mean, we knew this was one of the better conferences for college baseball. But you mentioned Arkansas State having great attendance. I was proud, Jeremy, to see that y'all had 8 fans and 3 teeth in attendance.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
To receive that kind of jab, from Monroe. Always cracks me up a little bit. But you know what? We deserve it. We didn't close escrow, so I'll take those insults. So who's getting in, Tibbs?
I think you're going to see the Cajuns, obviously Southern Miss with the automatic bid.
Okay.
I think Coastal Carolina still has the resume to get in. I think Troy's going to slip in. And
You think
Texas
Troy's
State.
getting it? Wow. You think
I think
Texas
we got
State?
5 teams.
Wow. That would be good. Yeah. If you had told me that Texas State was getting it in, not Texas State, if you told me Troy was going to get in 3/4 through the season, I might have laughed at you. But man, they came on strong. That's a really good baseball team. So if Texas State gets in, that's fine. But in a way, it's not like the Sun Belt, right? I mean, is Texas State Sun Belt anymore, Tibbs?
No, they're dead to us. Unless they go to Omaha, and then we are so proud of our Sun Belt brethren.
We are taking that World Series credit. That's exactly for sure. Tibbs, this is, correct me if I'm wrong. Unless there's some sort of, I guess, some track and field stuff that's lingering, this is kind of it for the Sun Belt and Texas State. Am I right?
Yeah, we're coming up on nationals for track and field as well as women's golf. We Warhawks have somebody out there playing in the individual national championship.
Men's golf is also coming up. I was going to talk a little bit about Arkansas men's golf making the nationals, which is a big deal for us. It's never happened at Arkansas State. I'll talk a little bit of that in parting shots. But yeah, so what else do we have, Tibbs?
You mentioning men's golf.
Yeah.
Did you know, Jeremy, that ULM's men's golf coach was fired?
Why?
No one knew it happened until they announced the new guy that was getting hired.
Well, that seems like, is that like a big move for your new athletic director? Your young athletic director?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think the guy moved on to a administrative role at Texas Tech. So, good for him. But yeah, it was definitely a shock when my phone starts blowing up of, hey, what happened to the golf coach? I'm like, what are you talking about? I just saw Rachel Pollack. And they're like, no, the men's coach. Oh,
man. I'm sorry. It's always, that's a pretty funky thing to happen. I'm sure there's a great story behind it.
Probably.
So I've been monitoring transfer portal moves for men's basketball. And I'm happy to report, I don't know happy, it's interesting to report that a little more than 80% of Sunbelt players that have declared to be in the portal, they have found new homes. So it's most guys, they've left and they've landed on their feet. So, if you had anybody you cared about that jumped into the portal, they're probably going to be okay.
Yeah, I think most of ULM's players landed.
Wiggy landed.
Wiggy's playing JUCO ball. Went to, I think it was Pearl River. You got people landing at NAIA, William Carey, Tulane, Wyoming, Loyola. It's all over the map, and hopefully they just keep ULM in their bio.
Well, we can only hope. Yeah, I think it was something close to 75, 76, 77 players jumped in. Most of them have found new places. There have been a couple that are still scraggling. A center for Marshall just landed somewhere like Tulane or something like that. Or no, Temple. He's going to Temple. So, yeah, good for them. Yeah. So next I'll be seeing who's coming in. That'll be an exercise for me. Like I said earlier, that I looked at the transfers of football players coming, more than 300 players coming in. Get this, Tibbs. What do you think is the most popular name of players coming in? What is the most popular first name?
Jamal.
No. You might even be like Jaden. That would be like a good guess, but it's not Jaden.
Larry.
It's not Larry.
Early.
No. No Jaden either. It's Josh. We're getting 4 Joshes coming into the Sun Belt this year.
Are you joshing me?
I gotta set that up. As usual, the beef was the most important thing to get. Offensive line and defensive line. People had to get that. Something else that interested me too, Tibbs. And rankings or ratings, like 24/7 ratings. I never know how legit they are. But this year, not one 4-star transfer coming in to the Sun Belt. What do you think of that?
They're going to the G6. They can't be that good, Jeremy. You know that's the mentality in the game that they play.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, a lot of great players are coming in. Don't get me wrong, but no 4 stars this year. So I was like, okay, all right. So anyway, we'll be looking at some 300 new faces coming into the Sun Belt. We'll be wondering which guys are going to make an impact, which guys are just going to continue being malcontents. That's going to be a lot of fun. What else we got, Tibbs? It's summertime. It's everything's kind of winding down and coming to a close.
It is, and it's time to start digging into doing team previews. I've started kind of digging in on the Warhawks schedule of a know your foe, so that'll be coming out in the weeks coming up, as well as starting to catch up on basketball recruiting.
Basketball recruiting. Do you think that the Warhawks going to make a wave?
For men's basketball, they have, and I think that when the preseason polls come out, I don't think they'll get the fair shake. I think that they'll be picked last because they were last year.
It's pretty lazy.
But there's a lot of talent coming in and a lot of D1 talent, a lot of familiar faces coming in from UAB that Ryan Cross is bringing over with him. So I think this is going to be a pretty good year. Am I going out on a limb saying ULM's going to win the Sun Belt? No, far from it. But I do think that they're in the upper half of the standings, and they might stick around in Pensacola a little bit there, Jeremy.
I always like it when the Warhawks stick around in Pensacola. Those guys know how to drink. So it's always good. It's always a plus to have them partying around. All right, I guess we're at promos, plugs, and parting shots. Tibbs, you want to go first?
Sure. I told you, Jeremy, that I have a vacation planned this summer.
Yes.
Where I will be disconnecting completely.
Good idea.
For this vacation. Part of the planning, though, you have to be able to know what the TSA will or will not allow you to carry through the security checkpoints.
It changes. Yeah.
And we all know, Jeremy, that's the true reason that you don't fly is because you're scared they're going to take your shampoo and your toothpaste.
I will say that the last 2 times I've flown, I've received the full body check. So there's something about me that's triggering some kind of alarm with the TSA.
I agree with that full-heartedly.
Yeah.
Carrying those liquids, Jeremy, is the least of your worries.
Okay.
Because airport food is expensive, right? Because you're kind of a captive audience.
Yeah. They know you want a sausage biscuit. That's for sure.
Luckily, TSA has relaxed the rules, saying that as many rotisserie chickens as you can fit into your carry-on is the number you can carry through the security checkpoint.
Wow. Is this official news?
This is official news.
Huh. Can you elaborate on this a little bit? Can you expand on this?
You are still limited to 3.4 ounces of any kind of liquid.
All right.
But you can carry as many rotisserie chickens.
Wow.
However, it does kind of fall into a gray area that have been some valid Reddit questions about this.
Okay.
If you were to puree the chicken, are you still limited to the 3.4 ounces? Or does that kind of negate it because it's the chicken?
Right. And if you had like really explosively hot sauce, are you going to trigger anything from like the drug sniffing dogs?
Also, you can carry a bowling ball, Jeremy, but not a bowling pin.
Yeah, I feel like a bowling ball is just as much a weapon as a pin, Tibbs.
I don't write the rules. I just read them.
What if you're a juggler and you juggle pins? That's kind of unfair. Huh. I tell you what,
You're not
Tibbs,
getting that gig.
Flying to me has become more and more and more of just a chore. It used to be kind of special. You know, you get to the airplane and it was cool, and they gave you like a little breakfast or a little lunch and your little can of Coke, and it was really, they did their best to make it a pleasurable experience. And now it's just like they try to cram you into the smallest space possible with the most amount of people, and they seem to just begrudge giving you even the smallest container of pretzels. You don't even get full-size pretzels now when you get a snack on the airport. It's these tiny twists. What did we do to deserve that kind of treatment, Tibbs?
I don't know why you're I mean, I've given you the news that you can carry all the rotisserie chickens that you want. I'm sorry, Jeremy. I no longer feel sorry for you.
I tell you what I did once that drove some people angry, and I don't really have much of a sense of smell, so I didn't realize what I was doing here. I opened a package of beef jerky in the fuselage, and that makes some people mad. That's almost like opening up like a can of tuna. People don't like that smell. So that's good advice. They sell those bags of Jack Links in the airport. They're kind of courting disaster in that way, don't you think?
Obviously so, but I've never bought them, so I trust your lack of judgment.
Now, do you read on the airplane?
No, I am a catch up on Netflix.
Okay. Do you bring your own machine for that, or do you just watch the selection of movies that the airline provides?
It depends. Depends on how much I was able to get downloaded from the good old Netflix ahead of time. There's been times where I had plenty of shows from Netflix. Yeah. Other times I depended on whatever United, Southwest, or JetBlue had.
Have you ever been on a flight where you can kind of see the guy watching the movie like across the aisle from you, and it might be a little salacious, like something's going on, a little something, and you start kind of end up watching it instead of your own movie? Have you ever been caught doing it? Okay. Maybe that's just me. Well, that was a great parting shot. I've got a parting shot of my own, Tibbs.
Please give it to us.
So when I went to college at Arkansas State back in the early to mid 90s, one of the groups of people that I befriended was the Arkansas State men's and women's golf clubs. They were a motley bunch, Tibbs, hard drinking, hard partying. If they were talented golfers, I had no idea. They never really even talked about golf. All we talked about was girls we wanted to talk to, beer we wanted to buy. We'd load up my car, go to Tunica, or we'd go to Paragould, or we go somewhere where we hope to be let in and not kicked out for being underage. It was a good time. They're just good beer buddies to have. They were Canadians. They were Englishmen. There was one Texan who had this phrase that cracked me up. He would just shout out of nowhere, "I'm going to break your jaw." I mean, they were just wild, sort of uncouth ruffians that played golf. Two of those guys ended up in the Arkansas State Hall of Honor. This weekend, or maybe it was last weekend, I guess, Arkansas State men came in the top 5 of their sort of NCAA tournament division, which gets them to the Nationals, something that Arkansas State golf has never achieved before. One of their top golfers, Thomas Schmidt, he's been there for a few years. He's a German. The entire team is comprised of Englishmen, Swedes, German, one kid from Jonesboro, one kid from Texas. It feels a lot like that old team that I used to drink beer with. But these guys are almost serious professional golfers. I wish them well. The spirit of the early 90s golf team is with you, men. Bring us back the hardware. And that's my parting shot.
It's not the same with Milton.
Was that the sound effect you meant to put on that?
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.